It was bananas.
The catalyst for 2019 was actually 2016, getting eliminated in the quarterfinals.
Dahlqvist wins it for Sweden, and the United States, the reigning Olympic champions and world champions, go out.
It was that moment, it was kind of that stark reality slap in the face of when good teams get organized, can sit low on you, tactically flexible, we have to have more in our arsenal to counter that.
That was probably the hardest loss I've had with the national team for sure. I think it kind of opened my eyes to kind of where I was and where I needed to be. So that's when you kind of start asking a lot of questions about yourself.
I said to them, it doesn't matter how many medals you have, caps you have. This is about now making this roster. Everything now we do is towards 2019. Knowing that players would be dissatisfied. You're cutting players, you're reducing contracts, you're bringing in young players, you're giving them opportunities. I made it hard for the players. It was hard.
Do I think that they necessarily enjoyed that journey between the win in 2015 to the start of the 2019 tournament? Probably not. There's also all of the stuff that's happening off the field in terms of equal pay and things of that nature. Combine all of these things and you get this nice little perfect storm of, can the U.S. women's national team actually repeat as champions? I actually felt a lot more stress heading into it. We had the lawsuit, and just in general, we're going to be the most popular team in the most popular event happening during the summer. So I felt like more stress before, like, how's the team looking? Is everyone good? You get one time every 4 years, not only to play in a World Cup, but to, like, be on this stage.
It's the 2015 winners, the United States, begin their defense of the trophy against Thailand in Group F.
An evening they've been waiting for quite some time.
It's like, hell yeah, we're finally in the spot where we want to be. Just time to go. It's time to perform.
Chipping it, back post, header, goal!
That game was pretty interesting, and it was kind of almost like, okay, welcome to the World Cup, and here you're going to get criticized for everything you do, whether good or bad. People are going to find something to talk about.
I'm not going to rein my players in from expressing themselves or scoring goals when this is what we've spent some of them 16 years trying to get to. I think that actually would have been disrespectful to our opponent, regardless of who it was. If I'm going to get beaten, I want to get beaten by a team giving it their very best.
Alex Morgan, it's her night.
That was for us like years and years of preparation and joy after so much intensity, so much pressure, so much emotion.
Even as the game was going, you started to see, as I like to call it, the discourse sort of bubbling up online almost instantaneously, you know, saying, okay, we have obviously a mismatch in the opening game. I think everybody knew that was going to be the case, but you have casual people tuning in for the first time and saying, I don't know if I like how this feels. But at the same time, the team that's actually at the center of it is never saying, okay, this is an insult to Thailand. That celebration is for Megan Rapinoe, not for any of us, and it is for her and her teammates.
I always laugh when people try to bring up the term arrogance with our team, because I think we're actually quite opposite of that. And even if we were a little arrogant, if we were male footballers, that would just be considered confident.
Just in being who we are, we're just challenging the status quo and challenging, you know, what people's perceptions are about women. This is actually in the realm of possibilities of being a woman, being outwardly confident and being brash and being on the verge of cocky or whatever it means.
13-0 US. USA fans are celebrating this one.
I want it!
So I sit here and I go, if this is 10-0 in a men's World Cup, are we getting the same questions, to be quite honest, you know?
You want us to be great, but then when we're great, you don't want us to be that great. So I think they knew going in they were going to get pushback about pretty much everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
The U.S. women's team was started in '85, and the DNA that was started there and that grit and grind, we don't take lightly. In '85, in the first few games, they were playing Italy, and they really enjoyed the USA team that was playing on the field. So they were cheering for their team, but they started chanting USA. After the next game, the team just started chanting USA on three, USA, USA, USA. And so it stuck. Ever since, it's something that is the coolest thing to be a part of. It's a connection between all of the years together. Anyone that's played on the field, anyone who has a cap, anyone who's been there for a camp, who's ever been called in, basically just puts it all in one word. And it means really everything.
At that point against Chile, with what we're able to do, we're not there without 2017 and 2018, which was the purpose of having, you know, however many players we brought in to really turn over every stone and also to challenge the players that are in there.
Some of the hardest games I've ever played are some inter-squad games. You can't settle for anything, even at training, because somebody's there to want to take that spot. Training like that for 4 years, it can only make a team better. It can only make you better. That's why I enjoyed the Chile game so much. Everyone got to see what we get to see behind the scenes of everyone fighting for each other.
Every player on this team besides the backup goalies, and we are only 2 games into this tournament. What does that say about the depth of this group?
I mean, it's a great tribute to these guys. I mean, we've got a fantastic squad, a lot of depth, and I think it just builds the energy when everybody feels like they're a part of this, which they are. And so I think it's just, it's tremendous that everybody got in.
Some coaches might have played their starting group the first 2 and then rested the third. But, we thought it was really important for those players to be ready for the knockout stage and play a more physical team, respectfully a more challenging team in that last group stage game. So those players came in to kind of just amp the level up, just knowing there's going to be more involved here.
You have these talented players who are not just willing to step into any role that they're called upon, but can find strength in that position. And Jill Ellis, I think, has always gotten the most credit for being like a manager who can manage people. She talked a lot about having this core 14, core 15, but then the full roster of 23, and knowing that she had pieces that she could drop in when she needed them.
When you're dealing with pursuing excellence, you're either trying to, create separation from the pack, or you're trying to close a gap. And that piece in there, that's the hardest piece.
I think it was the Spain game. You saw that the level of competition had drastically increased.
We call this game our banana peel game internally, our coaches, because this is a game that could potentially slip you up. One, as much as you talk about it, your players could be looking beyond it. Two, this is a team that the opponent has a lot of good quality, very organized, and sometimes it's challenging.
That's Hermoso! And there's the goal! Shutout's gone, 1-1.
I think for us it was just important to stay in it as much as we could. Obviously they were a little heavy in the challenge.
I really enjoyed that game because that goal didn't set people down, it lit a match, and I think that was kind of the fire of the tournament is arised. It's do or die time now.
Checking the foul. The game is on the line right here. She says penalty. Rapinoe will strike. Rapinoe scores. 2-1 US.
As stressful as that game was, I think to watch in person, that was the turning point of, listen, this game was the bigger challenge and they figured out a way to solve it.
Spain gave the USA a scare, but the U.S. is still going to go on and face France on Friday in the quarterfinals.
Not you.
Just with it.
Maintenant, les Français.
I'll just address it head on. I stand by the comments that I made about not wanting to go to the White House. I don't think that I would want to go, and I would encourage my teammates to think hard about lending that platform or having that co-opted by an administration that doesn't feel the same way and doesn't fight for the same things that we fight for.
I know that it was serious and it was like, that's just insane that a president would be doing that and like a very sort of consequential thing. But in the same sense, it didn't really feel like that. I think our team, again, did a good job of like acknowledging it and being like, this is insane. But then just sort of like moving on, and not that we, needed any extra motivation, but I think it did like bring the team together even a little bit more.
I feel like anyone that I talked to, especially commentators, were like, this is the match that we want. Those are the type of games that you dream of playing in.
Did it meet my expectations in terms of what I thought it was going to be? Yes, and maybe even beyond. I was very proud to be a part of that night. I've been around Megan long enough to know when she is absolutely locked on. The confidence she gave off, I knew that it was going to be backed up by a performance.
And that was like one of the best, like most fun games we've ever played, just to be in that kind of atmosphere. We rarely have atmospheres that are against us. It was a unique experience for us, but I think we kind of like reveled in it.
Rapinoe.
We had to really grind it out that game, but I feel like the mentality was just kind of like, we're going to do what we have to do to win.
There's that rare air of those players that the bigger the spotlight, the bigger the game, the bigger they play. So I knew Megan would leave everything on the pitch.
Heath in the box. Two runners across. It goes free. Rapinoe shot. Goal! 2-0 US.
I think it was a showcase moment for our sport. Two phenomenal teams, an amazing atmosphere. It was just a phenomenal all-round show.
Radar hit it. Goal! France are back in it.
It was a battle all the way through. I'm not gonna lie to say I was stoked when the whistle blew.
On a vu ce soir malgré tout qu'on n'était pas très loin des États-Unis. Parce que je peux vous assurer que ça fait quelques années que je suis dans le circuit. J'ai jamais vu les États-Unis finir à 5 derrière. Jamais. Jamais.
We knew going in that that was going to be the matchup, but I don't think we knew going in that it was going to turn into the absolute spectacle that it turned into.
I was very tired and very stressed at the end. It was just a very stressful moment. I was like, thank God we won. We're going to the next round.
Madame, monsieur, bonjour. Bienvenue à bord de notre TGV Inouï à destination de Lyon-Pardieu. Je suis Yannick.
Oh my God. Feeding the machine is a fool. What's in it? Oh my God.
For us, Lyon was definitely the end game. So to get there, finally go on that train was great for us. You know, we had been traveling every single match around the country, and we knew that we were going to finally be in the city for the semifinal and the final, pending us winning the semifinal.
I said to our players, I'm not expecting a flawless game, because I think that's hard. That's a lot of pressure. But we've got to give our very best, and that's what I think we did in that England game.
Megan Rapinoe not able to even jog for warm-up. That is alarming. Something's up.
Yeah, I was stressful. I didn't do well on the bench. I was like, I'm not cut out for this. This is terrible.
It's the one game I haven't watched back yet. It was a crazy game.
And it's in. Press with a header.
No Rapinoe, no problem.
When you get into those last few rounds or the knockout rounds, they're all like that. There's so much intensity. There's no gimmies in the World Cup.
I was actually quite surprised by the reaction and it kind of taking off, and I guess I didn't think about it initially, but obviously I'm new to the celebration game.
This is a young woman that has been on an incredible journey, dealt with immense criticism. She knew we had her back.
Houghton is ready, so is Nair. Houghton shot, saved by Nair!
That is one of my favorite celebrations of all tournament. It kind of was a big, I'm trying to say it correctly for TV, a big, right back at you, I guess is the best way to say it. That's what was so enjoyable about this tournament, is no one cared what anyone else said. We wanted to write our own story. It wasn't for anyone else to write.
The talk tonight is going to be about Alyssa Nair. As the U.S. wins, they're on to the final.
I'm like a kid in a candy store right now, looking around and seeing in my teammates that kind of excitement, anxious focus that you have to have in these moments. It's one more game, and it really is just about experiencing that game in its fullest for the last time.
Thinking back to that tunnel, not that there was more doubt than there had ever been in past tournaments, but I feel like as you get older, I think you're a little more cautious. It takes a lot more to dive in without thinking of, the what ifs. What if we go down in the game? What if we have an injury? So I have all these things going through my head.
It's like you're walking out in front of the biggest crowd you've ever played in front of, and the biggest moment in your life. It's kind of the moment we've all dreamed of. I was just trying to stay kind of neutral the whole tournament, not get too high on my highs or too low on my lows. So I feel like I just kind of had to take a breath and then get ready to go.
we were ready for whatever was thrown at us. We felt prepared, we felt confident, and I think it's like really empowering going onto the field and playing alongside people that you just know that you have their confidence and they have yours.
Getting into halftime, I think everybody made such a big deal about us scoring early, but that was something we actually said, it doesn't matter if it's the 89th minute, you know. So there was a lot of, not chaos, but there was a lot of different pieces going on and trying to get information out. But I think it was just trying to summarize it to them as, listen, this is exactly how a final should be. It should be close. It's two very good teams. We're playing a really good opponent. But at some point, it's going to break, and it's going to break our way.
You ready? Hey, please go!
There was just this like quiet sort of calm and strong within the team that we just felt like there's no way that any team was going to be able to take this from us.
It was more relief than anything because I felt like we had controlled the game to an extent, and I felt like we kind of got that insurance goal and there was 20 minutes left, so I knew that like if we just kind of kept fighting the same way we had the whole game, that the game would be ours.
I think especially being one of the favorites and being a team that's expected to win all the time, there's a bit of relief just in there of like, thank God we didn't lose. But then it's also just this surreal, you're like living this moment that you've dreamed about and you've been focusing on, and then you're like actually living it. It's like a bizarre thing.
For the fourth time, the United States of America are crowned champions of the world.
Like, you just kind of look at each other like, what the hell just happened? We just did this again. So, yeah, it's sort of an outer body experience.
It's so business up until that point, so it's really hard to just let go. It took me probably a good like 15, 20, 30 minutes to really understand what just happened and kind of what the following weeks would be. Mostly little sleep.
The most important thing in women's soccer is like the World Cup final, having that just be the vehicle for this bigger social movement and this like moment of consciousness between, 55,000 people in a foreign country was just exceptional.
The story that I wrote right after the World Cup final was about Megan Rapinoe's celebration, where she expands herself. She takes up space in a way that is challenging and is in your face. That's what is really exciting, not just about Megan Rapinoe, but about the team in general, is that they are uncompromising in the way that they want to take up space. There's still a pretty fair amount of work left to do, not just for them, but then to take that next step and say, we fought. Here's how you can fight too.
So thank you so much. Obviously, with the winning, you always get this opportunity to couple, amazing performance with everything else that you want to talk about and everything else that needs to be talked about and issues that can take the game forward.
the best FIFA women's player, Megan Rapinoe. Congratulations.
The real legacy of this team is like being able to keep up your performance on the field so you can make the game so much better.
I ask everyone here, lend your platform to other people, lift other people up, share your success. Use this beautiful game to actually change the world for better. This is an absolute honor. Have a good night.
But just try to enjoy every moment and really take the perspective like this period of time will never happen again. So to kind of maximize everything that you can and enjoy it and, you know, realize this is a really special time in your life, and then to have the bigger movement happening around it that is right now, and just sort of seeing the world change around you and having an impact and being able to kind of have a say and a seat at the table in that is pretty special.
How you doing?